Welcome to the first installment of our Unreal Engine 5 VR authoring platform tutorial series. My name is Craven, and I'll be your guide throughout these videos. Whether you're brand new to Unreal Engine or transitioning from an earlier version, this series is here to help you navigate the powerful platform that is Unreal Engine and walk you through the process of designing your own immersive virtual reality experiences. Let's jump right in. Unreal Engine 5, developed by Epic Games, is more than just a development platform. It's a creative powerhouse that fuels breathtaking experiences across gaming, film, architecture, and beyond. With cutting-edge features like Nanite for ultra-detailed geometry and Lumen for dynamic global illumination, it empowers creators to build visually stunning, interactive worlds in real time. But let's be honest, for all it has to offer, Unreal can feel overwhelming the moment you open it. The interface is busy, the tools are deep, and without a roadmap, it's easy to feel lost before you even begin. That's why a good introduction makes all the difference, turning that initial intimidation into excitement. In this session, I'll guide you through some of the core parts of Unreal Engine's interface that you'll want to get familiar with as you're starting out. We'll ease into Unreal Engine together, going through things step by step. As we go, you'll start to see that it's not nearly as intimidating as it first seems, and by the end of this video, you'll be surprised at how approachable Unreal Engine can be. Let's start with the heart of the Unreal Editor, the Viewport. This is your 3D stage, the space where your world comes to life. Everything from models to characters to lighting exists here, inside what Unreal calls a level. We'll explore levels more deeply in a future segment, but for now, let's talk about how to navigate around this environment. When it comes to moving the camera around the viewport, you've got 3 solid options to choose from. Each one offers a slightly different feel, allowing you to choose the method that works best for your preferred navigation and interaction style within your scene. If you're familiar with PC gaming, this first method will feel like second nature, and it's actually my favorite way to move around the viewport. Here's how it works. Hold down the right mouse button to activate camera control. While holding down the right mouse button, use the W, A, S, and D keys to move around, just like you would in a typical PC game. Tap W to move forward, S to back up, A to slide left, and D to shift right. It's intuitive and gives you full control of your movement in the viewport. Now let's check out the second navigation style. This movement scheme was actually developed by Epic Games way back in the 90s, and it's still kicking today. To use it, just hold down the left mouse button, then move your mouse up to glide forward across a flat horizontal plane, or down to move backward. Slide your mouse left or right to rotate the camera around your scene. Want to pan the camera? Hold down both the left and right mouse buttons at the same time, and you'll be able to drag the view around freely. And just like with the WASD method, holding only the right mouse button lets you rotate the camera's look direction. One thing to keep in mind, when using this method, left-click movement always stays locked to the horizontal axis, no matter where your camera is pointing vertically. So if you want to move toward wherever the camera is actually looking, you'll need to switch back to the WASD method. Our third option will feel familiar if you've used any 3D modeling softwares like Maya. This method is intuitive and super handy for precise camera control. Hold down the Alt key or the Option key if you're on a Mac. Then, use your left mouse button to rotate around the center of your view, use your right mouse button to zoom in and out, and use your middle mouse button to pan across the scene. Now here's something all 3 navigation methods have in common. You can use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out, and if you're using the UASD method, the scroll wheel also adjusts your camera movement speed while you're actively navigating. Personally, I switch between all 3 methods depending on what I'm working on. Most of the time, I lean toward the WASD style as it's fast and fluid for me. But when I need to orbit around a specific object or stick to a flat plane, the other methods are great. Next up, let's take a look at another major element in the Unreal Editor. To the right of the viewport at the top is the outliner. You'll find it just to the right of the viewport near the top. This panel gives you a complete list of everything currently in your level. Models, lights, blueprints, you name it. In Unreal, all of these are referred to as actors, and every actor in your scene will show up right here. Click on any actor in the list and you'll see it highlighted in the viewport. And here's a handy trick. With an actor selected, press F on your keyboard to instantly move the camera to that object. This is called focusing, and it works in most 3D software. So if you're coming from a modeling or sculpting background and didn't know about it, definitely give it a try. You'll also notice that many of the default actors are organized into folders. You can move items between folders by simply dragging and dropping them. Or right-click on an actor, go to Move To, and choose an existing folder, or create a new one, right from that menu. Keeping your outliner tidy makes a big difference, especially as your scene grows. It's one of those small habits that pays off big in the long run. Alright, let's move on to another essential part of the Unreal Editor, the Details panel. Whenever you click on an item in the viewport or select something from the outliner, the Details panel appears with a range of editable parameters. What you see here depends entirely on the type of actor you've selected. For example, with this cube selected, we get access to settings like its mesh, materials, and physics properties. But if we switch over and click on a directional light, the panel updates to show controls for things like light intensity, color, and source type. We'll dive deeper into what each of these parameters does when we explore specific actor types later on, as needed. For now, just remember this: the Details panel is your go-to spot for customizing any actor in your level. Whether it's a static mesh, a light source, or a blueprint, this is where you fine-tune its behavior and appearance. Alright, let's keep going. There's plenty more to discover. Now let's turn our attention to the Toolbar. Located directly above the viewport, the Toolbar gives you quick access to essential tools. This strip of tools is packed with features that help you build and shape your world. One of the most important is the Editing Mode selector. Unreal offers several editing modes, each designed for a specific type of task. The default is Selection Mode, and honestly, you'll probably spend most of your time here. But there are other modes too, like Landscape, Vertex Painting, and even Modeling, each one unlocking a different set of tools and interface tweaks. Right next to that, you'll find the Create button. This lets you add new actors to your level, things like lights, cameras, meshes, and more. The options are neatly organized into folders, but you can also just start typing to search for exactly what you need. Further along the toolbar, you'll see buttons for working with level blueprints and creating sequences. These are essential if you're diving into creating cinematics or scripted events, but that's not something you'll need to know just yet. And finally, there's the Play button. Clicking this lets you jump right into your level and experience it from the player's perspective. When you're done, just hit Escape to exit. It's a quick way to test how things feel in real time. But as we're working with a virtual reality project, we would need to connect our headsets first for this to work. We'll cover platform settings and other advanced options later, but for now, just get familiar with the layout. Alright, now moving on. Just above the toolbar, you'll find the menu bar, with familiar options like File, Edit, and Help. Pretty standard stuff if you've used any kind of software before. But here's one menu you'll definitely want to keep in mind: Window. This is your control center for all the panels in Unreal Engine. If you ever accidentally close something, like the Details panel, this is where you go to bring it back. Just head to Window, Details, Details 1, and it'll pop right back into place. You might notice there are multiple versions of the Details panel listed. That's actually super useful if you want to open a second floating panel for multitasking or comparing settings side by side. And speaking of panels, you can dock any of them wherever you like. Just click the title tab, drag it, and drop it into a new spot to customize your workspace. As with any creative tool, staying organized and knowing where things live is key. And in Unreal, the window menu is your safety net for keeping everything within reach. Alright, it's time for our last core interface piece. It's the content browser, your gateway to every asset in your project. It's the second most important interface element we'll cover, and once you get comfortable with it, your workflow will feel a whole lot smoother. The content browser is how you access the project folders and substructures inside the Unreal Editor. To open it, head to the lower left corner of the viewport and click the Content Drawer button. This slides out the browser temporarily, and clicking anywhere outside of it will close it again. If you prefer shortcuts, you can press Ctrl plus space or Command plus space on a Mac to toggle it open. Personally, when I'm building a scene, I like to keep the content browser docked and visible at all times. You can do that by clicking the Dock in Layout button. Once docked, the left side shows your folder hierarchy, and the right side displays the contents of whichever folder you're currently in. Since we started with an existing project, you'll see a lot of folders that we will go over in a future video. At this point, the Unreal Engine interface should feel a lot less intimidating. There's still plenty to explore, but mastering these core elements puts you more than halfway toward full interface fluency. In the next video, we'll dive into adding and working with content, so take your time, review the sections we covered today, and I'll see you in the next video.